Hey headphone people, MrAyrit here, and got an interesting review for you today, and that is of this guy, the Little Dot MKII tube amp. So this is an OTL headphone tube amplifier, which means basically that tubes do all the work here. It's not a solid state hybrid design or anything like that. It's all tube. You can see it's got a big chunky transformer in the back there. Got a couple of power tubes and a couple of preamp tubes. I don't really know. I'm not a tube amper. I'm not a tube amp expert, so I'm just gonna tell you how it sounds, pretty much. Let's talk build real fast. I think this thing's actually really well built. Like, all the components feel good. It feels very solid. These are heavy amplifiers, so I don't know. This thing weighs probably like, well, I got my scale right here. We'll just weigh it. So it weighs almost 5 pounds. So it's a nice chunky amplifier. Now this uses the 6J2 tubes, I believe, up here, and those are the ones that you're probably gonna roll if you want to roll this thing. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. As far as build goes, you know, it's got PC power cable in, on off on the back, RCA in, RCA out, and then just a simple 1/4 inch on the front with, you know, a volume pot. The volume pot doesn't feel especially well made. There's a little blue LED dot there. I mean, I would say it's a nice design, but it's nothing too terribly fancy, but it feels solid and well built. Let's talk about sound here, and mainly I've got these rolled tubes. Now, I bought this amplifier local, actually, which makes it kind of special because it's very rare that I can put together a local deal where I live. This guy I bought for $100, and at that price with these tubes, it is a really excellent little tube amp. And I've got my Nemesis here for a reason, the HD6XX, right? If you've seen my review on this headphone, you know I really don't like it all that much, contrary to popular opinion, right? Here's the thing. This Little Dot tube amp with these tubes in it makes me like this headphone. Like, I don't like this headphone on like anything else, and I mean literally anything else. I have a Bottlehead Crack sitting right there. Don't like these on it. And that's supposed to be like Endgame, 6XX, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't suit me. However, on this Little Dot MKII, I really enjoy the sound of this thing, and you know, I can't. This is where my issue comes in with this review, is I can't really explain why that is. I honestly, like, I just can't tell you why that is. I have tried lots of other headphones. They all sound decent on this little amplifier, but I also have the Valhalla 2, and I also have, like I said, the Bottlehead Crack over there, and the Aeolus, the Alex, the Utopia. I have all those on hand right now, and all of them are dynamic drivers, you know, which should play well with tube amps and things like that. And every single one of those headphones I prefer on either the Valhalla 2 or the Bottlehead Crack to this, no questions asked. I think those two other amps are more refined, they resolve better, they present space better, they image better, they do basically everything better than the Little Dot MKII, and yet with the 6XX, for whatever reason, I like it with the Little Dot. And I don't know, that's weird. Isn't that weird? That's pretty weird. I feel like even though on all those other headphones, like the higher end of the Valhalla and the Bottlehead Crack, and of course it's somewhat tube dependent and things like that, but I feel like the higher end resolves better. I feel like they have better, cleaner and more impactful bass, and yet with the 6XX, I find it to be the opposite, in which I think it resolves better on the Little Dot, and I think the bass has more punch and character on the Little Dot, and the mid-range is just, I feel like it sounds thin. The Little Dot sounds thin on those other headphones, but for whatever reason with the 6XX, it just matches up just like perfectly, and I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know. So the Little Dot, I think, is a decent little headphone amp at, I don't know what it goes for retail, but, if you can find one for $100, $150, I think it's decent. Like, it sounds okay with pretty much everything, but the 6XX with these tubes, and their Vox Hood, I don't know how to say that, Vox Hood tubes is what's in this. And with those tubes, this is just in my mind, the 6XX amplifier. So much so that, like, I'm honestly, in my head, I'm going back and forth on whether or not I should keep it just for the 6XX. I honestly bought the 6XX again just because I bought the Bottlehead Crack, and I was like, okay, I found them for a good price, and I was like, well, people say this is endgame, I might as well give them the ultimate shot because I want to hear what everybody hears. I didn't hear it with the Bottlehead, hear it with the Little Dot, I think. So yeah, I don't know if this is really a review or it's more of just like me just putting out an experience there as opposed to any sort of real review, really, because I'm kind of like flabbergasted by it. But why question it? It works well. I'm gonna link to the Little Dot, I'm gonna link to the 6XX, I'm gonna link to those tubes. So if you want to try it for yourself, you can try it out. I would say, like, let's just talk 6XX experience on the Little Dot here, because that's really what this is about. And I would just say it's lively, it's got some detail. I mean, it doesn't have the resolution of those other things that we were talking about, but it's still pleasant, and it's like it's just lively enough to make it engaging while just on the tippy toe line of smoothness, to where it's like it's treading that line between liveliness and smoothness, just for me with the 6XX, just perfectly, where usually I find the 6XX to get just a little bit too lively for me, to the point where it, like, something grates on me after a while. But on the Little Dot with those Vox Hood tubes, like, it just works and it sounds really, really good. And I think, ultimately I haven't made up my mind yet on whether I will keep the 6XX and the Little Dot just for this sole purpose. Probably not long term, but at least now I feel like I understand what people are getting out of the 6XX. If this is what people are getting out of it, and this is what they hear out of other things, then I can understand what it's like. Honestly, I'm kind of chasing right now a Utopia is and I have one, but someone lent it to me here, so it's a wonderful headphone. And that headphone, again, I think treads that line of liveliness and smoothness. It just nails it, just perfect. On the Bottlehead Crack, anyway, it does. And so in my head, I'm going, I don't want to spend, $2,000, $2,500 on a Utopia. How can I get that sound without spending that much money? And honestly, the 6XX on the Little Dot is like in the running for that mix. Obviously, it doesn't resolve and doesn't have the technical ability, but as far as that same kind of like feeling as I'm listening to it, it's pretty close. Now, I bought the Alex too because I had the Utopia, and I've owned the Alex before and sold it. And again, I'm trying to like weasel my way into the Utopia sound without actually paying for a Utopia. So I'll have to do some more on that later, but yeah, at this point I'm just rambling about all sorts of things that are bouncing around in my head. So bottom line, Little Dot, decent little amplifier, decent little tube amplifier. Certainly worth a look if you're looking to play with tubes at all. Tube rolling does make a difference. I didn't listen to them very much on the stock tubes. I didn't like them. And especially when I've got these Vox Hoods ones in it that came with it that sound so good with the 6XX. I didn't see a need to really spend too much time with the stock ones. So yeah, again, link those below. It's a solid choice. It's a solid pairing with the 6XX. If you've got a 6XX and you're looking to breathe some new life into it, or looking to try a different angle at it, because it's not quite suiting you, yeah, Little Dot, find one cheap, and it might match up with you. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. If you find these ramblings useful at all, consider subscribing to the channel. Lots more headphone content. I've got Utopia review, Alex thoughts following that up. I've got all sorts of different amplifiers, Valhalla, Bottlehead Crack. I've got a Burstin Soloist. I've got an A90, a Burstin Funk. I got all this stuff piling up on me here, and those will all be coming over the next couple of months. So stick around if you're interested in any of that. I appreciate you being here. Do you have one of these Little Dot amps? What do you think about it? Drop it down below. Are you using it with the 6XX? Have you tried other things? I need some other opinions on this, honestly. I'm not the expert here. I'm not the 6XX expert, certainly not. But I'd be very interested to hear any other thoughts. So drop those down below. And thank you for tuning in and listening to my craziness. So until next time, I'll see ya. Thanks.